Alright guys, I'm doing it. I'm doing a Middle Eastern list for you guys. And you might watch this video and say these are not the Middle Eastern fragrances I'm used to. Well, these are the kind of fragrances I wanted to highlight today. But find out about a top 14 collection of Middle Eastern fragrances coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Sebastian. Are you into Middle Eastern fragrances? There's a lot of videos out there on YouTube for Middle Eastern fragrances. A lot of you comment and ask me and send me messages as well asking me to do videos on Middle Eastern fragrances. And I wanted to find a unique collection of fragrances that I really enjoy. And most of them that seem to be like very original. That's kind of what I was going for. I did not want to make something that's flat out outright clones of fragrances. So I wanted to make sure that the fragrances were fairly original and good quality and not cheap and things like that. So I've got 14 different fragrances from 14 different brands here in this video, and it's a ranked list. And this is what I'm feeling right now. And this list might change in the future, but let's get started with the list. And you tell me if you're familiar with these houses, and if you're not, are you curious, add some comments below, and let's get moving. So this is the first fragrance I'm talking about. This is a brand called YUSUF BHAI, and it's basically Poem Collection. This is it right here. So I discovered this house in Dubai, and in Dubai they have various stores. And it's a very interactive store. You go in and you can create things and ask them to create things for you. And they have some original fragrances there. And they also have a lot of dupes. I'm staying away from those. But YUSUF BHAI has created some of these fragrances. And I felt like this was definitely one to highlight. And it features my favorite note, Patchouli. But it's a very earthy patchouli fragrance. Nothing like Juicebox's 54. This is like the earth. Because on their website, they also list mudsy notes. I'm assuming they're, referring to mud or perhaps earth. Because this fragrance is uber earthy. If you like that kind of patchouli, you got to check it out. In addition to the patchouli and the muddy notes, we've got Nagarmotha, Ambergris, and Oakmoss. For me, it's not an uber intense and loud fragrance. And also, I think if you wear this kind of a fragrance and you like the idea of an earthy patchouli fragrance, you can get away with spraying this on. It lasts a long time, and 1 or 2 sprays is going to be perfect because patchouli lingers on, and the earthy kind does as well. This almost like, it feels like it's like that patchouli oil that's uber earthy. But this does have a little bit of an ambery touch when it's drying down. But as I said, earthy, woody, and muddy as well. I feel like muddy is definitely appropriate for this, but I think most likely they're referring to the earth, the soil, and things like that. So this is YUSUF BHAI's Poem Collection in a most gorgeous bottle. What do you think? Let me know if you're familiar with this. If you've been to Dubai, you're probably familiar with that. And if you live in Dubai, you're probably familiar with that brand. But next, going to the House of the Scent Library. This is Victoria Velvet. This one right here. So this brand is sold over at Perfumology in Philadelphia. And this is definitely one of the highlights from the house. It's a fruity musk. If you like the idea of musk, but like a clean musk, because it's very clean, with an overdose of fruits in it, definitely this is one for you to try. It wears not so loud once again, because we're familiar with Middle Eastern fragrances being loud. This is not that, but it's just a super cozy, powdery, fruity musk fragrance featuring white musk, sandalwood, mango, peach, amber, jasmine, grapefruit, rose, violets, and oud. It's not very oudy, guys. That oud is there to give some contrast, some differences between all the notes together, some changes I should say. But in the end, there's that creamy sandalwood with the musky touches and the powdery effect it creates, along with all the fruits that are in here, the mango and the peach. Wears very soft and cozy, but it's definitely delicious smelling. Scent Library, Victoria Velvet. Let me know if you're familiar with that. The next fragrance, I've spoken about this one on the channel before. This is created by Quinton Biche. It's from LATTAFA. It's called TERIAQ. Now, there is a new one. I am still unfamiliar with it, and I've heard great things about it. But this to me is so good. It's a great gourmand, and even though it's unisex targeted, I feel like it does lean a bit feminine. For sure it does, but it's a super delicious gourmandesque fragrance with pink pepper, caramel, almonds, apricots, honey, white flowers, rhubarb, rose, vanilla, leather, labdanum, musk, and vetiver. And the fragrance itself is so super budget, inexpensive. So it's quality work from Quinton Biche, but definitely very on the budget side. And I think it's a perfect fragrance if you're you're the type of person that doesn't want to spend too much money, but you want quality work from a famous perfumer. Quinton Biche is famous. He's created a lot of great fragrances. This is definitely not in his typical style, I don't think. It's not like Ganymede or those kind of minerally musky fragrances. This is definitely like a more designer-esque take on a gourmand fragrance, but a really great one. So this next one has been around for a while. I think this is definitely one of a solid, great releases from early on before the explosion of Middle Eastern fragrances. I remember this from like 2015, maybe even 2014. This is Arabian Oud's KALEMAT, this one right here. Are you familiar with this one? Really a great take on a amber fragrance with a bit of an oudy touch, even though they don't mention that there's oud in this. But it's a lot of musk, amber, honey, rosemary, cashmere, orange blossom, floral notes. It's super strong, really intense, very cozy, and of course it smells super delicious as well. Definitely got the whole Middle Eastern vibe going for it. In fact, it might even have something like saffron in there because it smells super Middle Eastern, but with an overdose of the sweet honeyed musk and amber combined together. Really wonderful offering. If you haven't tried KALEMAT, please do. I highly recommend that one, especially if you like a Middle Eastern take on amber. Really wonderful offering. But this next fragrance from the house of AJMAL, it's AMIR 1. So I spoke about this one in an AJMAL haul video I did with Joe some time ago. This one next to the green is the one that I can tolerate. The green one is super animalic. This one is an oud fragrance, but oh my god, so luxuriously gorgeous. And a little goes a long way. And I know AJMAL does some really inexpensive, cheap fragrances, but this is uber luxe all the way. If you like the idea of a fragrance that's oud focused with amber, spices, and rose and things like that. It's such a smooth fragrance, and it comes in one of the most gorgeous bottles. Let me know if you're familiar with this one, but it's a really great fragrance featuring oud, amber, sandalwood, bergamot, musk, rose, lemons, lavender, lily of the valley, clary sage, patchouli. Really refined, really super smooth, and the oud stands out, but it doesn't interfere. It doesn't overwhelm. It's just smoothly blended. The kind of Middle Eastern fragrance I like. It doesn't smell cheap. It's very luxurious and smells fantastic. So that's AJMAL's AMIR 1. Let me know if you're familiar with that. The next one I'm talking about is HIND Al Oud's TAHNOUN. This one right here. Are you familiar with this? This one is super sexy, guys. It's for the folks that like Ambroxan. And it's a very strange take on Ambroxan. First of all, they don't mention leather. I get a leathery touch about this. I also get a bit of a cannabis-like effect happening here. Reminding me of a few other fragrances out there. I can't remember what they are, but I'm getting a lot of leather in this. And I don't know, something about it does come off very leathery and also very Jasmine-like. But it's super potent, very long-lasting, and super, super sexy because the Ambroxan is so intensified with the Oakmoss. And there's also lemon verbena and caraway. The caraway is like cumin, spicy, and very kind of like a fresh spice. So it provides a kind of a fresh effect. With the lemon verbena, I think all of these notes combined together, I think that's what's giving me a bit of a cannabis vibe, but I love the way it smells. And again, it's super, super sexy. If you haven't tried this one, try it. It's HIND Al Oud TAHNOUN. I highly recommend that one. But this next one's going to the house of Swiss Arabian. It's Shagaf Vanilla Toffee, this one right here. Are you guys familiar with this one? I've spoken quite a bit about this one. And if you want a full review of this one, do let me know. Add a comment because I could do a video on this and then also highlight some of the other Shagaf fragrances. And I also have a very interesting story about this one also that kind of dates back to a year ago November. So not this last 2024 November, but 2023, late October 2023. So late October 2023 and November 2023. So if you want a review, I will do a review about it. But this is an absolutely delicious gourmand fragrance from Swiss Arabian. And again, it doesn't smell Middle Eastern like some of the other Shagaf flankers do. This one smells like super delicious gourmand fragrance. It doesn't even smell like it has oud in it, and I think they've dropped the oud word on here. It's no longer Shagaf oud, it's Shagaf vanilla toffee. So totally different flanker. But coffee, dates, brown sugar, walnuts, toffee, vanilla, cookie dough, tonka beans, benzoin, musk, woods, milk, cardamom. Oh my. Super, super delicious. Not super expensive either. This is, I think, selling for under $100 suggested retail price, because I bought mine, and when I did the conversion rate from UAE money to dollars, it was around $65. It's not at the discounter, so you can't get them for under $65. You have to, I think, order it from their own website. But oh my god, it's one of the best gourmands and a really delicious Middle Eastern fragrance. This is Shagaf vanilla toffee. Let me know if you're familiar with that. All right, guys, next up, going to the house of AMIR. It's Arabian Jasmine, which was recently an Art and Olfaction winner and also featured in a mystery box last summer. Did you guys get a sample of this, and what did you think about it? This is a Middle Eastern take on jasmine, and it's an overdose of jasmine. So it has Arabian and Indian jasmine together, along with saffron, Indian oud, white ambergris, Thai oud, rose, violet leaves, sandalwood, musk, bergamot, cardamom, and clove. So if you like an indolic jasmine, but not super potent with its indolic touches, but the addition of these kind of slightly skanky animalic oud notes, and a lot of other notes coming in like woods, musk, and ambery notes, you're gonna really, really love it. I think it's great work from an independent artisanal perfumer. That's the category 1 in artisanal perfume, I believe. And it totally deserved it because it's a super amazing fragrance. It smells fantastic, very, very long lasting. This is the kind of perfume that's created by someone who's doing it all themselves. There's no corporations involved and things like that. So everything smells very naturalistic and intense, and everything is nicely put together to create this really, really wonderful jasmine fragrance that's super strong, a bit skanky, but really delicious and pleasure to wear. So that's AMIR Arabian Jasmine. Let me know if you're familiar with that. And then the next one, going to another kind of indie artisanal house. It's Ibrahim Fouad Oricilla. This was also recently featured in a mystery box. And it's an orris bomb. It's Oricilla. Orris is the keynote. Orris is the root of the iris flower. And again, it's an iris or orris bomb. It features orris in the top and the heart and the base notes. So it's an overdose of orris. Along with the orris, there's musk, powdery notes, amber in the heart and the base, patchouli, cedar, mimosa, vanilla in the heart and base, and cacao. So it's sort of gourmandesque, very ambery, extremely powdery, but really super delicious. This is for the amber lover, and once again in an indie artisanal style. So it's I feel like when you have fragrances that are indie and artisanal, they're a bit rough around the edges, but still a very great wearing experience, still a pleasure to wear. And again, this is definitely one of the great orris fragrances that I've really recently discovered, and it smells super fantastic, very long lasting, uber powdery, and a bit gourmandesque with the whole vanilla amber cacao thing. So that's Oricilla from the house of Ibrahim Fouad. Then going to a house called Emirates Pride. It's Masters. I don't know why this is called Masters, but I'm assuming they're referring to the perfumers behind the creation of this. Master perfumers Olivier Cresp and Nathalie Lorson are responsible for the creation of this. And again, it's a super delicious gourmand from a house I need to explore, but with the first creation that I've put my nose on, it's super fantastic. This has notes of vanilla, amber, cocoa, heliotrope, cardamom, slightly boozy, but really powdery. This is not that kind of sweet and syrupy kind of amber. It's more of a powdery take on amber, and also more of a gourmand take on amber. It might remind you of a few other fragrances out there, but I felt like because it's quite powdery, it's got this unique characteristic about it, and it's such a great smelling fragrance. I really love the combination of the notes. So if you haven't tried Emirates Pride Masters, please do. I highly recommend that. All right, and then this fragrance, I've been mentioning it in a few videos here and there. It was a discovery in Dubai. I was actually handed a strip walking in Dubai Mall. I was on the way to go check out some stuff with a friend, and I was kind of dismissing the guy that handed me the strip. But as soon as I took it and put it to my nose, I actually told him I'll come back later, lying to the guy, thinking I'm not going to come back. But I put the strip to my nose. I had already gone way past him. I'm like, wow, this is so amazing. I made a point to come back and ended up buying this bottle at this store. I don't even know what kind of store it was, but they had perfumes and clothing. This is a brand called TERIAQ Al Hawamir Al Diwan. This is it right here. Super sexy fragrance, guys. It smells super amazing. Absolutely love this. It's musk, amber, oud, and tobacco according to the brand. Now, I've highlighted this fragrance in several videos, and a lot of you have moved along to contact the brand and see if you can buy the fragrance. And the brand contacted me that this is happening. I was surprised. There's not a lot of information, and the notes breakdown I took from the brand. I had to ask them. I said, what is the notes breakdown? Because there's no information about it. I personally don't know if this notes breakdown was correct. There might be something lost in translation. I get patchouli, rose, saffron, and oud. Some creamy notes in there, but they say it's musk, amber, oud, and tobacco. Where's the patchouli? Where's the rose? Where's the saffron? I don't know. That's what I'm getting, but it's a super, super delicious, super sexy fragrance. It's also not very expensive, and also kind of a cheaply looking bottle, but I absolutely love this. Hope you guys can get your nose on it. Please do. It's amazing. It's a great, great fragrance. And the next fragrance, going to the house of Nilafar Dunil. It's Niloufer, and we've had a famous perfumer with LATTAFA's TERIAQ with Quintambiche or Contambiche. This Niloufer is created by Chris Maurice. Definitely a really delicious nutty amber fougere. So hazelnuts, almonds, and all your typical amber notes and fougere notes. So it's lavender here along with vanilla, almonds, hazelnuts. There's heliotrope, cinnamon, cedar, myrrh, musk, geranium. Oh my god, guys, this is such a great creation. The actual fragrance reminds me of a barbershop fragrance my dad wore, but I don't recall it ever being ambery and nutty. So something like that has been done, something classic, but it's modernized with the nutty ambery touches, and it smells really, really great, guys. If you haven't tried this, please do. I highly recommend it. It's Niloufer from the house of Nilafar Dunil. That's at number 3. And then finally, I happened to be able to find another bottle of this. I've gone through one whole bottle. Maybe it was 2 actually, because I think I bought 2 when I first bought a bottle. It's Abdul Samad Al Qurashi's Safari Extreme, this one right here. One of the best fragrances, most luxurious, and also very sharp bottles. So be careful. This is very sharp. You can hurt somebody with it. So this also has strange notes breakdowns. I couldn't figure out what it is. For me, I get a lot of leather from this, but the brand's website doesn't list leather at all. This is what the brand's website says. It's roses, woods, bergamot, herbs, caramelized sugars, lily of the valley, white iris, oak wood, ginger, harmonious spices. No oud mentioned and no leather. I get a lot of leather and I also get a lot of oud, but of course it's ambery. There's some rose touches in there from freshness and from the citruses, and of course spices, but super, super amazing. It's almost like Tuscan leather from Tom Ford, taking it into more of a Middle Eastern direction, adding rose and spices and ambery touches, and of course the oud. Fantastic fragrance, absolutely love it. This was like for years since the pandemic, very difficult to find a bottle. I'm so happy I have a bottle now. It's one of the best Middle Eastern fragrances out there. Abdul Samad Al Qurashi. Abdul Samad Al Qurashi Safari Extreme. Even when I went to their store last year when I was in Dubai, their store didn't have any bottles. And last but not least, going to the house of Al Jazeera, it's Patchouli. Look how much I've used up of this one. Oh my god, it's so good. We started the list with a patchouli and we're ending the list with a patchouli. They're so completely different patchouli fragrances. This one's created by Olivia Cresp. It's interesting that I have a fragrance in this list created by him. 2 different fragrances, I should say. But this is patchouli, honey, cumin, nutmeg, pralines, sandalwood, musk, and vanilla. Oh man. This to me smells like a cross between vintage Mugler Angel with L'Instant de Guerlain pour Homme Eau Extrême. Fantastically, super delicious. The patchouli is so beautiful in this, but it's also super dry, so it's a different kind of patchouli. Not so chocolatey, but sweet and honeyed, and a bit spicy with that cumin and nutmeg. Really, really wonderful. One of my favorite fragrances. I absolutely love it. The sillage and the projection and the lingering power of this is just top notch. Absolutely love it, and I'm glad to have a bottle and can wear it and enjoy it. So this is Patchouli by Al Jazeera. That's the number 1 fragrance of my top 14 Middle Eastern fragrances. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances, guys. Have you encountered these fragrances? Have you smelled them? Do you own them and wear them? Or are you curious to get your nose on them? Do let me know which one sounds great to you. Add a comment below. Otherwise, guys, if you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.